Welcome to our last class of the day, number 4 for players under 2,000, or in your case, way under 2,000. Yeah. Okay, it's me. So we're going to look at games from 2 tournaments, the Isle of Man, which coincidentally has women's prizes. Huh? They don't get it. There you go. And the World Cup games, there's almost no games left. We're going to look at one game from the World Cup. Today, or for you 9 years ago, in the World Cup, Aronian was completely winning, and they drew, because they always draw. So, there you go. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always draw. Okay, we're going to look at the Isle of Man. We'll discuss the Isle of Man first. Okay, and we'll flip the board. Okay, Isle of Man is sponsored by... No, nobody? You guys are full of information today. Chess.com. It's the Chess.com Isle of Man tournament, which actually says under Caruana's picture. Yeah, okay. And almost all the best players in the world are there, except Aronian and Ding, because they're somewhere else. Okay. And in round 1, they decided to confuse the public, because that's very easy to do. Okay. In fact, they confused me. And they made random pairings in round 1. So anybody could play anybody. Wow. And coincidentally, Kramnik played Caruana in round 1, who ranked 2 and 3 out of 170 players. A much funnier pairing was Ifan versus Kostanyuk, getting paired with more women, and in round 2, she's playing another woman, Ifan. So this is actually very funny if you know why. Nobody understands what happened. Yeah. No? One of you does? Gibraltar. Yeah, in Gibraltar, Ifan thought they were intentionally pairing her against women, and she complained. Oh, yeah. And now she's playing all women when it's random pairings they're drawing out of a hat. So I don't know. Pretty suspicious. Now round 2 was normal pairings, so the top players got to beat up on the weak players. Now we're going to look at some games from the last couple of days. Today was round 2, or as far as you're concerned, the tournament ended 15 years ago, and the sponsorship ended 10 years ago. Okay, so those are people at home, if you can call them people. Now here we have opposite side castling, rawr. So before the game, Caruana and Kramnik were laughing and smiling and shaking hands. Then during the game they tried to beat each other, rawr. Okay, and go USA versus Soviet Russia. Okay, even though Kramnik lives in Paris. Okay, and in this position, with opposite side castling and checkmating attacks, we got to a boring endgame. They're not 2,800 for nothing. Okay, and Kramnik played Queen B8. And he's going to attack down the B file, and so Fabiano attacks down the G file, and so forth. Queen C2. Queen C3 was also possible, because then if knight E4, white has the advantage. I can show variations like that because they're the top level class. Yeah. Now you play Queen C2, that's a little more boring. Knight E4. And now, instead of both sides checkmating each other, Caruana went into a pawn-up endgame, which is even more fun, right? It was fun for him. Okay, he checked and took a pawn. Now he's up a pawn. Yeah, I'm serious. Okay, and they traded pieces, and everybody was happy. Okay, and now he played rook d4, so they can also trade knights. And now, in this position, if you were black, it's a tough question actually, but this is the toughest class, so too bad. If you were black, and you wanted to trade pieces, does black want a queen and pawn endgame, or a rook and pawn endgame? What does black want? See, we don't have as much money as St. Louis, so it's cans up here. Okay. Anyone? Somebody said rook and pawn. Everybody agrees? No, the abstentions have it? I guess abstain. No trading. Okay, in this ending, black wants a queen and pawn endgame, because white's king doesn't have a lot of shelter. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, Rolling Stones? Yeah, okay. I have no Beatles joke for that. And so in this position, black attempted to trade rooks with which crazy move? Check. Yeah, rook d1 check. Now if we trade rooks, the h-pawn's hanging, the white king is exposed. So of course he played king a2. And after check, white wanted to trade queens, and so he played queen c4. Everybody's happy. Now, I have a rule which is against the rule that you learned. That's to confuse the audience. You were already confused when you walk in, now I'm going to confuse you more. You were like, yeah, when I walked in, the Lions scored the winning touchdown. Then when you sat down, the Lions lost. Truth hurts. And I was telling the kids in here, you guys saw it, the Lions always lose. They know how to do it, they're experienced. And Landon's like, how do you lose? We only did it once in the Super Bowl. The Lions are like, let's show you how. They're the masters. Okay, we'll score a touchdown and still lose. They showed them. Okay, I like the way the time expires. That's funny. So, what was I saying? Let's see. Karpov is no good. He's old. And Averbach's the oldest GM. Was I talking about that? No? Okay. So, the rule is all rook and pawn endings are drawn. You've heard that before. Not for me. And my rule is all rook and pawn endings are winning. That's my rule. Okay, that's because of my experience. And when you have pawns on both sides of the board, it's even easier to win. Okay, so black took the pawn, and now if you trade queens, then all rook and pawn endings are drawn. I was wrong. Now it's a draw. So obviously he took back. H takes g5. Now what's wrong with black just taking his pawn back? What's the problem? There's no problem. What should white do?
Rook check.
Rook check where?
H12.
Not here?
No.
I heard rook check. Oh.
H4.
Okay, here. Man, it got quiet. I'm sorry. I know you didn't see King G8. It was too hard. Sorry, that's my fault. Well, probably he would take this, yeah? That seems annoying. Let's see what the engine says. It says, we're both wrong. Rook E8, we are both wrong. Oh, snap! And then Queen C2. Oh. The important thing was to both be wrong. That I knew. I just didn't know why. Okay, so he played King H7, because move your king up in the endgame. Okay, and now white played the obvious move.
F4.
Yeah, F4. Tic-tac-toe. Okay, and they kept playing. White was up a pawn. And this is a very important rule. First of all, Kramnik breaks my never play F6 rule. But he does follow my rule of trading pawns with your down material. Because if it's rook and pawn against rook, it's probably a draw. But rook and 4 probably beats rook and 3. So no pawns is good. Black's rook is terrible. Losing pawns. And unfortunately, in this position, Kramnik thought a long time. And he concluded after here, there were no chances. Because this is going to do that. And black can't really do anything. So we can try to draw this ending. But I don't think we're going to be successful, right? Was King A5 win? I don't know. It announces mate, right? Come on, announce mate. There you go. Announces mate. Okay, I like being right. Okay, I knew it would announce mate. And Kramnik thought a long time here. And he's like, well, rook takes C3 loses, so I'll just lose like easier. So I was very upset he didn't resign because I kept predicting he would resign at some point. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, here. I said he'll resign every move and he never resigned. Okay, this is really ridiculous not resigning. I don't understand like what he's doing. Yeah, and he still didn't resign. I was like, wow, that's okay. Here he resigned, and when he resigned, it was silly because in this position, it looks like black should resign, but you should play for tricks. Those tricks don't work, but you might as well play for them. And then every move wins except pawn takes rook, and every other legal move wins, and then some. Yeah. So when he had one trick left, he resigned before he did it. Yeah. Yeah, what was he playing on so long? What is he doing? So that was a very strange pairing, but Kramnik didn't really complain. So now I have to make funny religious jokes that will be edited by my wife. So as you know, which top player is very religious and says so? I gave you a hint. I said his name. Wesley So. Wesley So is always like, I thank Jesus Christ every time he plays. Okay. So Nigel Short, who is anti-religious, so it's funny on the internet watching them. Yeah. So in round one, it was random pairings. So you don't know who you're going to play, right? Well, Nigel got a pretty good pairing, and he said, "I want to thank Jesus or whatever because I didn't have black against Carlsen because I couldn't have black against Carlsen the first round." Right? He was kidding, but maybe he wasn't kidding. He's like black against Carlsen the first round stuff. Yeah. So Kramnik wasn't too happy. Black against Caruana in round one. That's not so good. Okay, and then the other top-rated players mainly won. Of course, you all know Adiban, right? Yeah, and the other ones are like, what? He's like the third best player in India?
Yes.
Okay, you agree. And he played Gelfand, so that was a tough pairing too. They drew. Otherwise, the pairings were Rufus and Doofus versus Carlsen. Carlsen played 2100. He approved of his pairing. Yeah. Then he played Perlstein today, or as far as you're concerned, several years ago. And he beat Perlstein, but he was worse the whole game. And then he said, wait, I'm Carlsen. And then Perlstein's like, sorry. I forgot who you were. Okay, and then this was also played yesterday, unless it was played today. No, it was played yesterday. Today he played Helge Olofsson. Okay, so Nakamura was black, and he was worse the whole game, and now he's not worse. And what opening is this, obviously, based on the pawn structure? Very obvious.
Was it King's Indian?
King's Indian?
No?
Yeah, actually, it could be, but this pawn's here.
To me, it looks like
Collie system.
Who?
Collie?
No, doesn't look like it. Dutch? The Dutch with the pawn here? Wow.
no.
That's
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's not a. It's a Naiditsch Sicilian. Yeah, because he played e5 early in the Sicilian. Yeah. Okay, then they move around and around and around and around, and it's boring. Okay, and black was worse, but now black's not worse because black has the A file. The C3 pawn is also weak. Your bishop can't do anything, and the game ended surprisingly quickly. Yeah, this is also an Indian player, but you never heard of him, so that's pretty suspicious. He's a grandmaster, though. Yeah. India has a lot of grandmasters. You know what? I changed my mind. I don't. Adiban's probably 4th or 5th in India.
No.
Yeah, Vidit. Vidit's higher.
Rating wise, now Adiban is higher.
Than Vidit? No. 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 No.
You played board 4.
No. No. Come on. Let's go. Vidit. He's 2,700 Vidit. Come on, man.
You played board 4.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. 2,702. Man, that's a good rating, yeah. You never heard of him either, admit it. You all have to admit it. He doesn't admit it because he's heard of him.
Yeah,
but
I followed the Olympiad team there.
Yeah, but 2,700 FIDE, and you never heard of him. You should all be ashamed, right? Yeah, and then who's the other guy? Adiban? Come on, he's like 1,200 rated. Yeah, I meant him. Yeah. Look at that, 2680. Oh, what is this? These are like old ratings. From top, they're all from Tamil Nadu. What's up?
That's where the
I've been in Tamil Nadu. Yeah,
that's where the Vichy is from. So.
Yeah, but they're all from there. They all speak Tamil. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Adiban, come on, 2670. I sit corrected. You know who used to be good? Shashi Kiran.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you, the Usta police? Yeah. And who's number 2? You all know. Anand, and then?
Hari Krishna.
Yeah, but I'm asking them. I know you know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what's Hari Krishna's other name? Shh. Nobody? 0 people know? You see what class this? You see what you have to put up with? You never heard of Pentala Hari Krishna? Yeah, he is. Pentala. The guy was like 2760. Come on, the guy was like 15th in the world. You're like, who? Yeah. Yeah. You see what I have to deal with every day? Yeah, they're like, who? Anand, who's that? Okay, so this guy is an Indian GM, but you kidding? I'm higher rated than him. You kidding? Okay, so black infiltrates. Rawr! See, he's not kidding. You thought Nakamura was kidding, but he's not. Now, one good thing about Nakamura, he don't play too good, but then when he gets a good position, then he plays good. Sort of like me, I don't play too good either, but if I'm winning, I have a chance. Okay, so queen e2, and then Hikaru traded queens and won the endgame? No, he's got his queen and rook. He's going to get in there. Yeah. Yeah. Rawr! Rawr! Okay, d5. The computer doesn't even like d5, but it's a great move because it puts white under a lot of pressure. That's the goal of this Sicilian. It just took him 60 moves to do it. Okay, so obviously you take, and then e4, the point. You know what your opponent's going to do when you play e4. Easy to analyze. See? Yeah. Man, it's tough when like the guy's threatening mate and your bishop's attacked and this is pinned. Man, the truth hurts, doesn't it? Yeah, you guys were like already off for a draw. You're like, I don't know. Yeah. So he made a mistake here. The computer, when I was watching the game live, it wanted to play the obvious move. When I say the obvious move, I don't think you guys want to play it. King f3. It said that was best. But he played king h3. Ah, horrible. Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. Rook a2 is like double X-clam. That was a really nice move from Nakamura. Yeah, now he's on the 7th and 8th rank. Man, that's harsh. Okay, rook d4, which was the computer move. Most of you don't notice, but your queen's attacked. Right? You see the discovery? Yeah. Now, Nakamura sacrificed 2 pawns. Was he lucky? You guys know Thad Rogers? Yeah. So I was playing a tournament Thad Rogers direct, and he was watching my game. If you know Thad Rogers, that's weird. Usually he sits in the director's room and won't move an inch. When an inch, like if it's like this, I'm like, wow, you moved over there, right? You agree? Yeah. Okay, he was watching my game, and I was like, what? And then he went back, and then I won the game. And then when I came over, he says, all that stuff you did, you saw that, or you just hope that it's right? And I said, what's your rating? No, I didn't tell him I hoped it was right. Okay. Anyway, so he played Queen G1, hoping that giving up his rook was right. He was just hoping, confusing the audience. What happens after Queen takes rook? Does Black resign because he hung a rook?
Queen F1 check, and then
Queen F1 check, Bishop G2?
Knight takes bishop.
oh,
What? Knight takes Bishop?
No.
Knight takes Bishop looks good. Yeah, I was thinking Knight G4, but maybe your move's better. I don't know. Let's analyze. What's better, Knight takes E4 or Knight G4?
Knight.
Only the engine knows.
Knight G4.
G5, Knight 7. Wow. Man, my move's horrible. Man, my move doesn't even win. My move's better for white. And I saw F4, but I just thought I'd play Knight F2 check and win your queen. But I guess winning your queen is irrelevant. Because you take my queen, and then you have to pass D pawn. Yeah, then you win. Yeah, down a queen, but you win. So I was the wrongest. Do I get a prize? G5 I would never ever think of ever. G5. So G5 has the same idea as Knight E4, except G5 mates quicker. Yeah, but okay, it's the same. He would have played Knight E4, I guarantee it. Yeah, and then if Rook takes, then here. Yeah, nobody saw G5. Nobody ever will. Yeah, and even and I like this is a funny variation. Is Queen F2 is the funniest because it does win, but Knight F2 is what would have happened. Yeah. Maybe he would have played here. I don't know. They both win. Okay, plus 55, he would have played here. Yeah. Okay, so he would have done that. Yeah, not as good when it's tactics. Okay, so Queen G1, Queen, and he played. Oh, he just resigned. I thought he played another move. Oh, he just resigned after Queen G1. Yeah, that'll do it. So Queen takes A2, there's no other move? Ooh, wow, that's not good. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, but I like the way he played D5 and E4, then he mated him. Wow, that was pretty impressive. And actually, this is called like attraction, is that what it's called? Well, I'm asking them. Like, you see how the bishop is here? That bishop doesn't want to be there, because black is always threatening to take it. Then when black starts threatening mate, white has to keep defending his bishop and stopping mate, which he can't do. But if he played King F3, then he would have showed Nakamura who the boss was. You know who the boss is? No, Nakamura. Nakamura, yeah. Yeah, Knight G4, and black has this monster attack, and this king is here. And the only reason it's not plus 100 is because the computer defends perfectly every move. The human would just like lose all their pieces and get mated here. Yeah. And Nakamura does that. Nothing happens for 50 moves, then you resign like when it's equal, because then he like just mates you. Yeah. So that's sort of annoying. Yeah. Okay, next game. Ah, there's no next game. That was the only game. Okay, so this was funny because, as you know, I have a running feud with. Do they know anything? Wow, they don't. He's nodding. He won't even. It's too easy for him. Nobody.
Next week?
October 5th. They changed the date.
Simon Williams.
Simon Williams, Ginger GM, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because they were doing live analysis of this position. Okay, and I had to cry because I had to watch their analysis. Analysis wasn't so good. Anyway, well, they don't use computers. I mean, so it's never going to be good. Yeah, because, you know, Simon Williams. All right, so in this position, black played rook takes A2. Now you're going to analyze in your head like they did. What you're going to analyze, I'm going to tell you what to analyze too. You can analyze rook B8 check. Then where does the black king go? It's already too hard for them.
But G7?
G7. Then you're going to analyze rook takes bishop check on G8.
And then check.
And then bishop D5 check. Yeah, they analyzed that in their head. Then they analyzed it on the board, and neither one helped. Yeah. Luckily, the players were better, so they analyzed it correctly. Okay, so what do you think of that?
Well, king can go to E7.
Then I take your bishop for nothing. Yeah. I mean, if you go to E7, your bishop's not defended. Yeah. So the line to analyze is rook check, king here, rook check, king takes, bishop check, king moves, bishop takes rook. Then you have to analyze that in your head, and what do you think about that?
You probably can you play...
You push the D pawn and then D2 and then...
D2, what do I play after D2?
Bishop to B3.
I agree.
So you have to play A4 first.
No, you can do then you can sack the F pawn. No,
The
C
F
pawn,
pawn.
sorry, C pawn. You just put C4.
Then bishop d1, bishop c2, bishop a4.
And you just keep pushing both the
Yeah, and
pawns.
then I take them all. You keep pushing your pawns. Where are you pushing them?
Hmm.
Okay, so you analyze like they do, and you analyze right. So get out. Yeah, so they're analyzing this, and this is their first analysis. They said black wins, and then, like black resigns here. Right? Black's pawns are all stopped. Yeah. And then I was typing a4, 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 like you, and then somebody said a4, and they're like, oh, and then a4. Or you could, yeah, a4 here. Because bishop b3 is annoying. Now it's not annoying. Yeah, and after this, you could win with d2 or e3, or c4 probably wins. Now c4 doesn't win, or does it? King d4, d2. Wow, that's complicated. This is a complicated move, because this wins easily, and this wins easily. And c4, I don't know. So let's do c4, that's the most fun.
Well,
Draw.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, but man, if you don't play c4, then Peter's like d2 wins, a3 wins, announces mate. Yeah.
Third.
Yeah. Okay, so that loses for white. And I was thinking, well, this is probably a draw because, you know, I'll check and I'll take the d pawn. And then black's up a pawn, but look at white's king. And these pawns are isolated. And so I'm like, all right, probably a draw. And then they realized eventually that black wins after a4. And they're like, oh, black must be winning. Black has two passed pawns. And I'm like, black's winning? What? Black has no king. Gotta have a king in chess. Roar! And this is the game. And then they drew pretty quickly. Yeah. Check, and yeah. I mean, you know, black doesn't have a king, so you can't win. Yeah, and here, white could draw by playing bishop takes, and then if rook takes, bishop takes. But he drew by doing this, then defending his rook. Also drawing, yeah. And then black played for the win, but there wasn't much to play for. Yeah, okay, then draw. And even you guys could draw this. Well, some of you. Right? No comment? At home they would lose. I know those people. Yeah. I'd win with white against those guys. This is terrible. Yeah. So, yeah, a draw was a fair result, and the players played correctly. And that's why the commentators aren't playing, because, yeah. But it was funny, because they thought white won, they thought black won, they thought black was winning anyway, and I was like, well, it's a draw. So it was a draw. So that was an interesting game, because you never heard of either player. Okay, so this is one of everybody's favorite players, Granda Zuniga. No, I don't want novelty. Oh, I pushed everything wrong. I wanted to flip the board. Okay. So everybody's favorite player is Julio Granda Zuniga, right?
I like his name.
Yeah, we call him Granda. Nobody says Zuniga, right? Because we know Daphne, so we don't want to talk about her. Okay, so in this position, you look at the position, you're like, all right, this is a position. Looks about equal. Yeah, it looks good. And the problem is, black has some weak pawns over here. And also I have the D file. Okay? And that's why you should never play. What do you never play? Why are you looking at the board? Just my sayings. Never play.
F6.
F6, yeah. This pawn was here. Black's probably doing okay. But here, no good. No, that's, no. Okay, Granda Zuniga is a very interesting player, very creative, and this is sort of boring for him. And, however, since white is better, and since Zuniga is very creative, and most importantly, his opponent's 1900. It's, it's a random pairings. Yeah, and now you can see how random it got. So I was really surprised, because the game ended in checkmate in like 5 moves. I would think that like white wins an endgame or something. Okay, so he played knight b8 because his knight's attacked. He knew he was going to lose pretty quickly, so now he sets up for the next game. Now white played the most aggressive attacking move you've ever seen. You know how I'm kidding usually? That gives it away. What's the least aggressive move on the board? The least.
A3 or king h.
A3, yeah, right. A3 actually is an attacking move. When's the last time A3 was an attacking move? Do you guys remember when white did it? When I say do you remember, like, am I kidding? It's in a book out there. It's in my 60 memorable games. I'm sure you memorized them all. Irva Fischer, the game that Irva won when Fischer was pretty young. He played A3 double X clam. And the idea, I think, was to get the bishop to A2. And then, yeah, now he puts the queen on A2. Ooh. It's hard to play queen A2 when the pawn's there, right? That's why he's creative. He finds, like, the best squares for his pieces. Yeah, now that's annoying. It's like when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's annoying. Yeah, he had Italian food, so I thought he'd like that. Yeah, and the kid's like, what? Yeah, exactly. Most of the adults don't understand it either. Okay, so rook e8, defense, rook d6, check. You can't take now because you're in check. He blocks the check with his rook. I would never do that. I would like put my king in safety, but Granda Zuniga likes to play the most aggressive. King f7, and when something is attacked, what do? When something is attacked. When something is pinned, what do? I can almost speak English. Attack it again.
Again.
So he played.
Knight d4.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
Wait, maybe you did play knight d4.
F5.
You might have played knight d4. I thought you played f5. Now I'm changing my mind. Yeah, f5. Good. And now black gave up. He didn't resign, but he gave up. Yeah. Man, remember how boring it was? And it ain't boring anymore. Now it's boring if you have white. It's like too easy to win. Yeah. So he played here and then checkmate. And the truth hurts. Yeah, Granda Zuniga is like everybody's favorite because he plays, a little crazy. His name's a little crazy. He speaks a little crazy. Yeah. And also he's 700 points higher. But yeah, he takes some random position and then just mates the guy and destroys him. If only the guy had known my rules and never played f6. Yeah, terrible. You put this here and the evaluation's much better. Yeah. I don't know that to be true, but I'm sure it is. Okay, Isle of Man. Okay. So here's a good example of a blunder. So this is Niclas Huschenbeth, who's a German grandmaster who went to school in Baltimore, and maybe he still does, I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. And he's playing Gabriel Sargissian from what country? Armenia, ends in IAN, right. Yeah. He's been one of the top 5 players in Armenia for a long time, and for a long time he was the second best player. He might still be, I don't know. Okay, and the best player, obviously, Aronian. Okay, and white's better here, but black failed. Okay, so this position has equal material, and white has double pawns. Yeah, so you would think, okay, it's okay for black. And it is okay for black, but it's a little bit better for white. White's a little more aggressively placed over here. And your rook, if only your rook was here, I might change my mind. But okay, it's on the wrong 7th rank. Okay, so white played knight f7, and now I get to yell at him. Because he's not here, so he can't do anything about it. I send this to lots of my students, and someday they'll listen. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, right? I told it to Capablanca when I met him. Yeah? No, nobody? Okay, good, you finally, yeah, somebody got my joke. Okay, so in this position, the rook is attacked because I said so. I'm guessing black saw that. That would be my guess. And the engine says, move your rook. Right? Okay, and people don't like to move things that are attacked, they like to counterattack. Rawr! Even grandmasters. So if he moved his rook, then white has an advantage because knight d6 is sort of annoying. A little bit, not much. Okay, instead he blundered, knight d3, losing immediately. And as a chess coach, I tell my students, don't lose immediately. Okay, and these are hard moves to find for players of your ilk. No offense to your ilk. Okay, but it's your ilk, not mine. In this position, white has a fairly obvious winning move, which I think a lot of you wouldn't play. You guys like to take everything. This move is very subtle, like Perrier, very subtle. All right, where's my check?
Rook d1.
Who?
Rook c d1.
Rook d1, rook c d1. You have the right idea, but the wrong execution. You move the rook and attack the knight. Good job, but you could do a better job. You could also move the rook and attack the knight, but with a better square. We'll explain why in a second.
c3.
Yeah, rook c3. And the reason is, when your rook's on d1 and you play knight d6 check, I take it. When your rook's on c3 after knight d6 check, c takes d6 is illegal. So we have an issue over here. Yeah, if you play rook to d4, then you are pinned. So I could play something like rook to d1, for example. Well, then on rook to d1, my knight's hanging. Horrible. What would I do on rook d4? Would I play knight d6 check and knight b5? I'm not good enough to do that. I actually like that. Wow, I actually like my own suggestion. I've never done that. Could you play king d7? I don't see a good move here for black. Anybody? No, quiet as usual? Yeah. If you leave d7 open for your rook, that seems hard to do because this is coming. So I don't see how you do that. Yeah, so that would just win. And if you play rook to d7, I go check, and this is going to be very annoying next move. Yeah? Yeah, and so this is just winning. Rook c3 just wins. If you played rook to d1, as you guys indicated, I think I go here and I'm fine.
And if you did one move back?
Yeah.
If you did immediately knight to d6, you would just move king b8? Because it looks interesting if you take
I think I can move can I move my king anywhere?
I think so. But if you capture, that's probably.
Capture with the rook?
Well,
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, because
no, I don't like that. Yeah, I move my king somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So he played rook c3, and I'm like, did black miss rook c3? Because now he has to resign. So I was confused. Like he attacked the rook, and the guy moved and attacked his knight. So I mean, I understand if you guys miss it, but there's higher rated than me. They're supposed to see stuff. Yeah. So moving his rook and black is okay, and now it says like +3. So he just played like this move, which the computer says is best. Like giving up the exchange sacrifice lecture. Yeah, sort of accidentally. Man, White had really good technique. Man, I don't have this technique. That was really nice what White did. Watch the end of the game. Yeah. And then this move is fantastic. White played one more move and Black resigned. This is a really nice move.
Is it rook d3?
No. Rook d3 is legal. That's most of my students suggest illegal moves, so I like it. Yeah, that's good. That's a very forcing move. It wins material.
Oh.
Very strange, because all of Black's pieces and pawns are defended perfectly. It's hard to win anything.
Can you do rook to g5 check and then push the pawn to e5?
After rook g5 check, king f6, your rook is attacked.
Oh.
So you're right, except you play rook h5 check.
Oh.
Then when I play king here check, your rook's not attacked. And if you go here, it's mate, which is funny. Unless you have black, then it's not funny. Yeah, so now if you play this, that's no good, right. And this is funny. I play e5 attacking your knight, and if your knight moves, I skewer your king and rook. It's very lucky. How can the guy be so lucky? Yeah. Yeah, so he resigned here. Yeah, that was nice. I like that. Yeah, he just won in one move. Well, he's up the exchange and has 2 passed pawns, so he was going to win anyway. But he didn't want the game to last very long. I'm going to go eat. So, okay. Yeah, Sargissian is pretty good. Now, I have a funny story about Sargissian, which I've told many times, but you guys remember nothing. So I can tell it again like tomorrow, because we're closed. Yeah. So I played Sargissian once in Chicago Open. You guys know the story yet? Nothing. And we'd sit down and I look at his score sheet, and he wrote Alex Fishbein. Okay? So I went to Vachier-Lagrave, who's a mutual friend of ours, and I told him, he looked, and he goes, it's not Alex Fishbein. He goes, well, who is it? He says, Ben Finegold. I said, no, don't change it in case I lose. Alex Fishbein. And I did lose, so he beat Fishbein. I'm safe. Now, what's funny about that is, in 2002, as you all know, I tied for first in the World Open. In 2003, I overheard a funny conversation. Some guy who I don't know, I know who it was, I remember. He told Larry Christensen, last year, Finegold tied for first in the World Open. And Christensen said, Finegold? Nah, it must have been Fishbein. So there you go. Yeah. All right, so Fishbein lost to Sargissian, but not me. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is the only game that I'm showing the whole game. Okay, this will show the difference between Shirov and not Shirov. Yeah, this is the random pairings of round 1. Okay, now yesterday when I was here, between rounds, there's a lot of blitz chess going on. Okay, and usually they were kids, because it was all kids. And there was always a dragon, because they're kids. Right? And I'm like looking, and I'm like, ugh. Okay, and then Shirov, the guy played the dragon against Shirov. Good opening choice. Black against Shirov and a dragon? What? What are you doing? Like, even Carlsen wouldn't do that. That's crazy. Okay, because Shirov can't play chess, but he's good at tactics. Remember when Shirov was 2780? Don't look at his rating now. Shh. Man, what happened? That's a lot of rating points. Yeah, the truth hurts. Like, he's lower rated than Vachier-Lagrave. Man, that's like nobody in this class is. Okay, so dragon. You guys know what the dragon is. Yeah. Man, Shirov's good when he's attacking. Okay, so they played this. Now, what's the most aggressive move? It'll scare you, it's so aggressive. Shirov, he's got to play the most aggressive move. This game was played yesterday, so this guy's trouble seems so far away, but now needs a place to hide away, right? You agree? He agrees.
Bishop h6.
That's too aggressive. That loses a piece. Don't do that. You don't want to overwork your queen. Your queen is doing yeoman's work here. You can do it. There's 3 very common book moves here. 2 of them are bishop c4 and castles. This is the 3rd one.
H4?
Close.
G4.
Yeah, g4. Rawr. Okay, that's aggressive. That's Shirov. Okay, the guy played the old move, bishop e6. I'm not sure if they play that now. I don't think they do. Okay, and he took and castled. Queen c8, I've never seen or understood the move queen c8. He never played queen c8. So it's got to be wrong. Rawr. Rawr, h4. Okay. Rawr, h5. Now h5 is scary because black's threatening this, and Shirov was very afraid of that. No. Now, whenever there's opposite side castling, and I lecture about that about twice a year, I tell them my secret. I attack and my opponent doesn't. I said, then usually I win. They could be up a pawn or an exchange, but I'm attacking and they're not. In this game, black never even threatened to attack. He's like, oh, a pawn on f3. Yeah. And then he went back. Takes, bishop e2, knight c4, bishop here. Okay, and now black made the losing move. The computer already really hates black's position a lot because white has an attack and black doesn't. I mean, I got the h-file. Okay, and black hasn't done anything against white's king. Okay, now this is actually a very funny move because it looks crazy, but it actually stops white's most obvious move. So pretend you're white and pretend it's your move. What do you do?
Maybe G5?
G5, yeah. Right. So the computer for black plays, it stops G5. I guarantee it. G5, yeah. And then white can't play G5. Yeah. And then you just keep playing. Right. Okay, so after G5 it prefers white, but you keep playing. But instead black's like, now you can win right away. Don't worry about it. Plays D5 attacking in the center. Yeah, unfortunately, man, the center, wow. Yeah. So now the knight's not on f6 anymore because he played d5. So now, you're not defending h7. So that's not good. But black has a big attack on against white's king. I'm telling the audience I'm lying. Okay, rook f7, time to escape. King f8, exclam, the only move. Rook f1. Man. So white just has a big attack and 2 bishops, and black has like a rook on a8 that's never going to move. Which is good for the next game. It's already set up. Don't have to do any extra work. Okay, bishop f6, tricky.
Okay.
Yeah, see how it attacks the queen? Yeah, tricky. And Shirov resigned because he missed that. He moved his queen. Amazing. Check. Queen g6. Man, the truth hurts. Queen e8. Man. Horrible. Rook f7, queen f7, rook f1. See how easy chess is? You thought when you played 2000s it was tough. Isn't that what you thought? Yeah. He can't come to this class. He's too good. He's too high rated. That's FIDE too. That's even better USCF. Yeah. But when he's playing Shirov, it looks really bad. Right? Yeah, if Shirov played this guy every game, Shirov would be the highest rated player in the world. You get 1 point a game. No, because it means outclassing him, but you get a kind of position Shirov's good at. And they make one bad move in a Sicilian, you just get crushed. D5 was a really bad move. Because after E5, he just crashed through on the king side, and white's king was perfectly safe. But he plays on, because Shirov's no good. So, got a piece in the endgame, what's the problem? Yeah. Bam! He just takes everything. He takes something every move. Harsh, isn't it?
And wins the knight.
Yeah. And then if knight takes G5, and the guy's like, all right, I give up. Or knight E4 maybe is better. Positional. Yeah. So that was pretty embarrassing. Because this rook didn't move. There was never a threat against white king, and the whole game white's just mating black. So that's what white wants in a dragon. But black did lose a lot of tempi and take a pawn, opening roads to his king. Yeah? So he looks bad when he's playing Shirov. That's why in round 1 of these tournaments, when it's normal pairings, there's a lot of that. But with the random pairings, there were some draws because, some guys were like similarly rated. And again, I've said this in many lectures. At some point, you know who you're playing. Right? You play a lot in Georgia. You play the same 10 guys 50 times. Okay? Some people are good at the ending. Some people know a lot of theory. Some people are good at tactics. I mean, nobody in Georgia is good at any of that, but you see the idea. So like if I'm playing a 12-year-old who's rated 2300, guess what he's good at? Tactics and opening theory, right? So I play b3 on move 1, I trade all the pieces, and they go cry to their mom after the game, okay? I don't go, oh, I'll play this sharp Sicilian and we'll see who gets mated. It's gonna be me, I'm gonna get mated, okay? So obviously Shirov, who's the oldest player who ever lived, right, he's known for wild, crazy attacking chess. Play the dragon against him? Come on, man. He's still good at wiring the dragon. Look what he did to that guy. That was horrible. But if you play boring positional chess, then Shirov might be, where's my tactics? Rawr, I'm furious. So therefore, Shirov, who's good at tactics, but not as good as Kasparov, never beat Kasparov. Because he was good at what Kasparov was good at, but Kasparov was better. So Karpov, conversely, who's good at strategical, positional, boring chess, he beat Kasparov like 1,000,000 times, because they play differently. But Shirov plays the same as Kasparov, but worse. So he never beat him. Never. They played like 40 games. Should beat him once, right? Just for fun. Once. No? Never? Never. Shirov never, man, but Shirov looked pretty good that game, yeah? But yeah, he's playing the right guy. Okay, and this was the only game I thought was interesting that I could show you from the last week, because they don't play anymore. They play one game a day, then they take a break. You know, so from last week, there's been very few games of the World Cup, and they're all draws, because you know they're all 2,800. Now this is very interesting. So as you all know, Aronian's playing Ding in the final, and they drew today even though Aronian was +3 or +4, but still drew, because they always draw. And when he played MVL, Aronian lost the first game in a beautiful game, but it was too many moves for this class. In the second game, MVL needed to draw, and he goes on to the finals. So he played the sharpest opening ever, and then lost immediately. So that was the only game that he had lost in the World Cup to that point, and then he lost in the Armageddon game, obviously. As you all know, Levon went on. So what the thing is, MVL plays what he plays, and what he plays is sharp, and he knows it really well. So he can't just like try to draw the game. He doesn't do that. So he tries to play the Grunfeld, and Levon didn't let him play the Grunfeld. What move did Levon play? We could ask Elton John. Anybody? You're my only hope. No, you don't know Elton John? He shall be Levon? Okay, good. Well, he should be a good player. No?
I know the song.
Yeah.
I don't know the reference.
Oh, well, it's the same name, Levon.
Yeah.
Okay, you know the reference. Yeah. There's no He Shall Be MVL. There's no song. Terrible. Right? You know what I'm saying. Yeah, he's like, what? All right, so this is a move I would never play.
F3?
Yeah. See, there you go. That guy listens. And you can still play D5. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But, okay, MVL went into a Benoni, because whenever you need a forced draw, you play the Benoni. Okay. And then they played like some normal, you know, like some Benoni, normal position. Okay. And in this position, this is very funny. He played H4 attacking the knight. And after trading, where did white move his knight? Very easy question.
Nowhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played bishop c4. Now, I remember the game analysis, if you can call it that, with Hansen and Saruwan. We wouldn't call it analysis, it's more like joking around. And Saruwan and Hansen guaranteed he wouldn't take that knight because he needs a draw and then white gets a mating attack. He took the knight without thinking. He took it in like 1 second, right? And this looks pretty dangerous. You know, you got some good action going on here, right? Was he playing Shirov? Now, again here, it's not clear what to do. We moved instantly. So at some point, I don't know who it was, they're like, this is his preparation. So like MVL must have good preparation. He's moving instantly. Okay, but I don't believe it's his preparation. I think he's just crazy. I don't think he's preparing this line. So anyway, he played Rook H8, defending his knight. So this is what we call a long-term piece sacrifice. White doesn't have a forced win. The computer says it's equal, but nobody's taking black here. Except he took black here. Like if you talked to grandmasters and said, hey, all the engines say this is equal, which side would you like? They all take white, all of them. Even Yasser, who never sacks material. He's like, well, white's got everything and black's got this going on. So I'm not taking black here. Okay, now this is great for Aronian. Aronian needs a win, or he's out. And he's got this crazy position where everybody wants to have white. So he's pretty happy. Okay, so E5, roar. Needs a win, right? Queen E7 pinning the pawn. Castle's unpinning the pawn. And obviously, he's hoping this pawn goes away, so we have d6, and we have our bishop, and we have knight to d5, and so forth. Okay, that's what he's hoping. But he leaves his pawn on d6. And knight e4, rawr. And queen e5, I think was a bad move. The engine wants to play queen f8. That's why it's an engine. Yeah, and it still says black is okay, but I don't know any GM who's playing queen f8. But it's up a piece. And this is funny because normally in chess you want to activate your pieces, but the piece that's the scariest to activate is the queen because the other guy takes it. When the queen's on f8, nobody takes it, right? Well, they could, but they have to have really long arms. So queen e5, the queen's going to get harassed. Now, I think this is the position, I think. No, this isn't it. d6. He played g5, which the computer also doesn't like. But he's trying to stop queen h6 check, I guess. Is this the position where Yasser went totally crazy? Yeah. Yasser was really mad here. He said, this is the worst thing that's ever happened, and then his opponent resigned immediately. So maybe he was wrong. It's possible, right? So Yasser was like, yay, I like white, yay, look at all the, I love everything. Everything's great. He liked every white piece. He was in love with white's position. Then when Aronian made this move, he was furious. And the computer says it's fine. But he played rook e1. He's like, what? That rook was on h1. What's he doing? Okay. Well, there's a queen here, and it has a lot of squares to go to. No. And okay, what's this doing now that g5 was played? Is the queen h6 anymore? No, this is why Aronian's so good. You do what you do, then when you can't do it, you do something else. Right? I mean, he was attacking on the h file, and after rook h8 and g5, he's not attacking on the h file. So rook e1, rook in the center, opposing the other guy's queen. The queen doesn't have a lot of squares to go to. And even though white's down a piece, white has this pawn on d6. I like that. I like pawns on d6. And black has this going on over here. Whenever your opponent doesn't move their pieces and they're up a piece, you don't really care very much. Now, if this knight was on d4 and the bishop was on f5, okay, then I resign. But, okay. So he played b5 because he's MVL. He gets counterplay. Would you guys open up the a file for the rook? Is that what you guys do? Yeah. And Aronian didn't do that. Attacks the rook moves away. f4, kicking the queen. Queen moves away. Again, when the queen goes backwards, it's hard to win the queen, but if you move all your pieces backwards, you're probably going to lose. And he didn't want to allow queen c3 check. So he puts his queen here. So white trades queens into the piece down endgame. Yeah? So what did white do? Trade queens, wins a pawn. No? Maybe? And if you trade queens, you go back to the first class.
You could go like queen e2, because if you take the pawn, then you have some checks on the g4. But I don't know.
You could do that. I think he went to c2, because queen c3 check is annoying.
Yeah, that too.
Ah, you played e2, so you were okay. Yeah, you're the best. Yeah. Oh, I know what he did. I even know what he did, and I forgot. It wasn't queen g4, but you were close. Very close. Close. In this position, when black played g5, none of you were thinking that it weakens the white squares, because you guys never think that, right? When the pawn was on g6, if you were here in a previous class, the exchange sacrifice class, black's pawn wasn't on g6 and white played knight f5 and the other knight's f5, right? So now after g5, we have access to these squares we didn't have before. So he did play queen e2. Yeah. And they played queen h5. And then MVL went back because he's 2800. And he's like, defense. Yeah. Yeah, the truth hurts now. Yeah. And then MVL cheated and took this and played queen b2 mate. See, chess is just one tempo. Yeah, now what do you do? I keep pushing the arrow and nothing happens. Yeah. So even though black is up a piece, this is a very annoying threat. And there's lots of ways to defend it. How would you stop queen f7?
Rook f8.
Rook f8, I don't see anything else. And I'm assuming this wins immediately and this wins immediately. I'm assuming. Although after knight f6, after knight g5, we have knight f6. So probably rook h1. Then Yasser would be very happy because the rook went back to h1. Yeah. I know in this position the computer said something like +9, and rook f8's forced, so I'm guessing rook h1, and announces mate. Yeah. And if you just play random moves like a5 blocking the b file, you're still winning. Because, you know, black's play is to take and play queen b2 mate. And after that, the black rook is out of the game, and so white's king is safe, and he's getting mated. And this is also mate. Question?
Right here, when you go one move back.
Yeah.
Right here, can you play knight to e5 and then?
You can. That's the best move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then bishop to like e6. Maybe.
Bishop to e6, X-clam.
We still
Then
lose.
after here, then Yasser's happy, because we're doing the mate again. Yeah.
Okay.
That was a very funny game because black needed a draw. Now, let's see if you guys are on the ball. I'm going to bet a lot of money they're not. Which top player in the world who was doing well in the World Cup could never draw when they had to? Never. And I already mentioned this several months ago, that this player could never draw. They don't know what draw is. Anybody? No? I wonder how many of you have heard of him. I'm going to say 3. Fedoseev. What, you never heard of him? Anybody? I said, you heard of Fedoseev?
Yeah.
It was one person heard of him? You? 2? You? 3. Yes, I was right. Don't say you heard of him. Oh, he's like, no, I didn't hear of him.
I didn't know.
Fedoseev, 2730 FIDE. Come on, he's like 20 years old.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah, he plays for Soviet Russia. No, I think he actually is not Russia. It's like some fake Russia. Fedoseev. He played in Aeroflot, and he won Aeroflot. That's good, right? Then he went to St. Louis, first place the whole tournament, lost in the last round to Shankland. He was white against Shankland. Needed a draw, so he lost. And then after I wrote a report, I'm like, he doesn't know how to draw. He knows how to play crazy. Then in the World Cup, he lost game 1 to Doofus. He needed to win game 2 to match 1, and he won the playoff. Then later, in round 3 or 4, he won game 1, needed to draw with white against a lower player and lost. He doesn't know how to draw. He knows how to play crazy, right? MVL's sort of the same, since MVL's better. But MVL doesn't know how to draw. He knows how to play like MVL. And that was the only game he lost in the whole thing. Was the game he needed to draw to go on to the finals. Then in the Armageddon game, he had a drawn position and he lost in the double rook ending. So that only cost him like $70,000. No big deal. It was $70,000. He would have beaten Dang and he lost 50. Yeah, $70,000. Yeah, for losing a drawn end game. And you guys lose like $12 and you're mad. You're like, I got a draw and that's $1,200. I win $12. Right? It's true. Yeah. So for a game that you needed to draw, MVL did not play like he needed to draw. He played like he needed to win, and he got crushed. This is actually what happened to Bu. I can't say his last name. Bu Zhangji. Anybody? No, you can't help me? No? You?
Mr. Wu.
No. Hey, Alan, can you help me? What?
Janzi.
Yeah, okay. If you heard him, he said it differently than I did. Anyway, he lost the first game to Svidler with white. So he needed to win with black the second game. So he played like he needed to win, but that didn't work out. He got crushed, or hung everything. So you saw that last week, though, in last week's lecture. So right now in the World Cup, Levon is playing Ding. They're tied 1-1. After they draw the next 2 games, they go to the playoffs, right? That's true. You think I'm kidding, but I ain't kidding. Yeah. And I'm going to bet on, I guess, Ding Liren, because I've been wrong about every match. So why not be wrong again? So I got Ding. Right? Yeah, you guys too? You agree? Ding Liren? You like never heard of him? I don't care who that is. Yeah, he's the best player in China, and that's saying something. That's better. That's harder than being highest rated in the world. China's competitive. Yeah, they got a lot of 2,700 players. So that was the World Cup in the Isle of Man, and I guess by next week's lecture, the Isle of Man's going to be ending round 8, round 9. Yeah, and there's the top 40 players in the world. I think like 32 of them are playing, and it's an open tournament. So you thought the World Open was strong. But this is a strong tournament. Now the reason there's so many strong women playing, does anybody know? There's actually a reason. Why are so many strong women playing in the Isle of Man tournament? It's not a joke, it's serious. It's something they do in Europe a lot, they don't do that here very often.
Prize money for women.
Women's prize money, first prize £6,000. Right? And usually women don't want to add £6,000, but in this tournament they do. And a couple people got it, right? Did you get it? Even the kid got it, that's pretty good. Yeah, so the other tournament that does this is Gibraltar. They have huge women's prizes also. So all the best women in the world play in Gibraltar and now Isle of Man. And then we have tournaments here that don't have women's prizes, so there's not, not a lot of women. Now in Gibraltar, they let the women get both prizes. So if you get top woman prize, you can still like tie for third and you get them both. And nobody gets the women, just you. You can actually not win the tournament and get more money than the person who won the tournament. When I say person, I mean man, because a woman won the tournament, they would get them both. And that actually happened. Didn't Yifan win both a couple of years ago? I think she tied for first and she went top woman. So she got a lot of money. Yeah, then the Chinese government took it. Well, that's the truth. The truth hurts. No, what do you want? Yeah. If you don't like it, talk to Yao Ming. All right, see you guys tomorrow, even though we're closed. I don't care. Yeah. And then remember what's happening Friday, especially for the older guys. Bug House. Having a Bug House tournament Friday. Yeah, you guys are like, yay, Bug House. You can show up and not play. All right, good job. Go Lions.
Thank you.